what do you want me to? You want me to talk about the project, or do you want to wait until 9:20 like you suggested originally?
Well, we can go ahead and talk about it now. Now's as good a time as any. And
okay, well that's great, because I've got some exciting things that I need to do today. Well, let me just introduce myself to everyone. My name is Keith Broders. I have a website called the Constitution Club. It's also sometimes referred to as the Friends of Liberty website. We've got just about 4,000 members throughout the country. They come from virtually every state, and the people are all people who are interested in the restoration of our constitutional republic. The people essentially believe that we have God-given rights and we have governmental privileges, and our government has usurped the authority that was granted to it in the Constitution. Our government is now taking control of us. Our only sovereign is our Creator. God is our Creator. Our government is to be our servant. And then after the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln was successful in turning the tables and creating a situation where the states lost their sovereignty to basically be taken over by a federal bureaucracy, a corporate entity, essentially. And frankly, a lot of the things that we hold dear, a lot of the things that the founding fathers believed in have become distant memories. And but anyway, I came across something recently which has got me just totally excited. And on my website, the Constitution Club, I've created a website. 3,142 websites are hosted on that Constitution Club website, one for each and every county in America. And the idea behind this was I wanted the people at the local level to be able to unite together, to be able to communicate with each other, to be able to share ideas, to be able to educate one another, to be able to vet candidates in order to help elect constitutional candidates, and to be able to expose those that are not. And frankly, it hasn't gone real well in terms of getting a lot of interest, and I think one of the things that we now have is we have the ability to help fund the local organizations. I have a project to raise money in my county, Riverside County, to raise money to reestablish constitutional government and the rule of law in the county. I want to have money to educate the voters and to be able to educate the candidates and to be able to elect the constitutional candidates and, like I said, expose those that are not. And in order to do that, we need money. And so I've recently found a program called Crowdsharing on the Internet. Now, there are probably over 500 platforms now where a person can go to post their website requesting donations. And when you go to these websites, there are certain components that you find in virtually every crowdfunding website. And that is, number one, your project has to be approved by the people who are running the platform. Then there has to be a time limit. You have only a certain amount of time in order to raise the money that you intend to raise. The other thing is that 3% to 9% of all the money that is donated that you have to give to the host of the platform. So there's a load of 3 to 9%. The other thing is that there are literally thousands. If you go to GoFundMe, you'll find that there are thousands of projects out there, and everybody who is on their platform is competing with each other for the donation dollar. Mm-hmm. So people are in competition. Wouldn't it be great if we could follow the admonition of our Savior to love one another and to serve one another, not to compete, but to cooperate with each other?
Yeah.
And so on this particular crowdfunding website, you essentially enroll other people to be crowdfunders. You help them raise money. And as you help them raise money for their project, they in turn help you raise money for yours. It's based on the golden rule. It's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's not compete with your neighbor, but it's love thy neighbor and help thy neighbor. Amen. And you will be rewarded equally to the contributions that you make to the people beneath you in this organization. It's really a wonderful thing because it's the gospel in action. Back when, Wiley, when your great-granddad was a young man, and if he had a barn and it got burned down, he wouldn't go to the bank and borrow money and go into debt. What he would do instead is he would get together with his neighbors and they would come over and they would voluntarily help him rebuild his barn. Yeah. That was the gospel in action. Now when the bankers came in, the bankers said, well, no, we can't have this. We can't have this cooperation. We can't have this community sharing. We have to loan them money so that we can enslave the people with debt. And so this whole concept of crowdfunding is absolutely incredible. I met a gentleman from North Carolina last week when I was at a conference with the leaders of the company, And he was in debt. He was on the verge of losing his home, and he started a WeShare crowdfunding website, and he started promoting it. And lo and behold, in a total of a little over 6 weeks, he generated $107,000 in donations. He got himself completely out of debt. And now he's just blessing the lives of so many people because he's showing them how to do it. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Now, when we first discussed this, Wiley, I was saying that, one of the groups of people in this country that is really needs help is the veteran community. We have disabled veterans. We have veterans that are homeless and veterans who need medical care. And frankly, I think this is a very worthwhile project. And if anyone here that's listening to this show today is interested in helping the Wounded Warriors, you don't need to go through the Wounded Warrior Project per se, but you can set up your own project. And if you set up your own crowdfunding project, you become the project manager, which means that you personally would be the person in charge of distributing the funds that you collect. Not only that, as the project manager, you would have the ability to pay yourself a small percentage of the money that's donated to pay for your time and effort. So in other words, you're going to be paid for blessing the lives of the veterans. And I know a lot of people are concerned about a lot of these large organizations. They're concerned about, well, if the money is donated, what percentage of the money is going to get to the ultimate destination, which is the Wounded Warrior. And in this particular situation, that would be up to you as an individual if you create your own crowdfunding website. Let me let people know that if they are interested in creating a crowdfunding site, they can call me at 951-282-3271, and I'll be more than happy to provide them with information. I've got a series of videos. I've already posted some of those videos, Wiley, on your Facebook page so that people can go there. Now, again, this business, some people say, well, this sounds like a pyramid. Well, let me ask you this. In a pyramid, most people are, first off, there's something called a bad pyramid or a pyramid scheme, and there's a good pyramid. In a bad pyramid, obviously, the people at the top exploit those beneath them. But in a good pyramid, the people at the top serve the people beneath them. And so pyramids are not necessarily good or bad. It just depends upon who's at the top.
Yeah.
And so consequently, it's not a pyramid scheme. 100% of all of the money that is donated goes to your project. Well, if 100% of the money goes to your project, nobody at the top is going to be skimming anything off the top. Nobody is taking advantage of anyone else. Again, it's people serving people.
Well, brother,
not people exploiting people.
Yeah, let me stop you there just for a minute. We've heard your information, and I want you to give that phone number one more time. And if the folks are interested in it, let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my reason for being interested was twofold. Number one, because it is dealing with the veterans. I'm a veteran, and I work with veterans. We have a homeless shelter for veterans. We do a lot of work with veterans, and that's why I was interested. So if you would like to find out more information about this project, tell them how to get in touch with you one more time. Would you please?
Area code 951-282-3271. You could also go to the website, and the website address is friendsofliberty.us. friendsofliberty.us. So that's two different ways that you can contact me. Or email is Keith, Keith, Broders, Broaders, @gmail.com. And like I said, my whole objective in this is I want to be a humanitarian philanthropist. I am currently participating with a group called Compassion International. I'm sponsoring 13 children from Central and South America, helping to fund their education.
They've been on this program, and that's why we have them on before and why we have you on. Now, we have several other callers. You've heard the bongs. Let's stop just for a moment. Thank you, Keith, for that information. But we are in the Upper Room Prayer Room, sponsored by the Congressional Prayer Conference. We do have at least 3 or 4 other people that have joined us. And if you would, please, you don't have to give us your name, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to. This is an open prayer meeting, and some people prefer not to identify themselves or just to identify themselves by first name and where they're located, and that's okay. So, this is Pastor Wiley, and I am in the upper room prayer room with about 7 people. We had just a moment ago, some have walked off, but anyone else on the line, please identify yourself as you feel led.
Wiley, hi, this is Duran Reeves with the Salt and Light Council out here in San Diego, California, and hopefully some additional people on this line from our week prayer line have joined us, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Okay, well, Duran Reeves, thank you so much. Duran has been on with us before. Duran has been here to the First Southern Baptist Church. We have a group here at our church, Salt and Light Committee, and we're in the early stages of it still, but we do have it, and it is good. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a matter of are we supposed to be. No, God says, Jesus said, you are the salt, you are the light. The question is not whether we should be, shoulda, coulda, woulda. The question is how bright is your light and how tasty is your salt. And Duran Reeves has been the leader in this effort, and I want to say thank you to Duran. Now, anyone else on the line that would like to identify yourself, please go ahead.
This is Harold from Indiana.
Helen from Indiana. I'm sorry, who was the gentleman?
Jeremy, Georgia.
Jeremy from Georgia.
Yes, and both of these folks, by the way, can you mention that if you're from the R&R, which is known as the Repentance and Restoration Prayer Line from the Salt and Light Council, can you also mention that so Wiley knows? And both of Harold and